Hey everyone, Coach Joe Drake here with the Axiom Fitness Academy, and I'm excited to have a little conversation with one of our amazing students who had great success going through and getting certified inside the virtual classroom, Evan Paquette. So I don't mess his name up. Evan, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for being on the call with me.
Joe, it's so great to see you.
And tell for those who might be watching this, wherever this video is going to be available, who are probably they're on that front end of that process that you were, dealing with getting certified. Just give them a little bit of an introduction, like who is Evan? What do you do in life right now? And then what are you up to now with like training and fitness?
Sure. Yes, I'm here in Westchester, New York. I'm a dad, husband, two amazing kids, and I'm a full-time magician. For the past 15 years, I've built a career wowing audiences and children and families at schools and libraries and birthdays. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and I'm still on that journey. It's a lot of fun. And recently I got certified.
Awesome. I love that. So it's like you've got this full-time career that you have built, right? You have this other successful business, and now you're stepping into this new thing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, what would you, I mean, especially like I can think back to like us initially talking, right? I love that I get to have all the conversations because I can think about when we initially connected. But if you can think back to what were some of your frustrations or problems with trying to get into this stuff and do it on your own?
Yes. Well, yes. There are a lot of frustrations and problems. I went to college 20 years ago, and I was an English and a theater major. Um, and um, and I've always loved fitness and working out on my own, and my family is into exercise and fitness, and they were coaches, and so I thought this would be an easy pivot. Uh, but I signed up for the NASM course, and I'm just like, whoa, what is all of this anatomy and biomechanics, and what are these neurons, and what's going on here? The science was just blowing my mind, and I love science and learning about that, but it really it caught me by surprise, and I was very overwhelmed very quickly.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. I think like a lot of people, you get in and it's like all the right reasons you're excited to learn, and then you get into it and you're like, wow, this is way more in depth than I thought it was going to be.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Well, and I know you mentioned too, like you hadn't been in school in quite some time. Um, how were you doing? Like the on your own learning at home, like what was that was a struggle for you?
Yeah, and I'm no rocket science. I'm not a genius, but I thought of myself, I'm smart, and I love learning, and I love continuing to read. And so I said, I'll sign up for the course, the NASM course that comes along with the package that I bought, and I'll just go through it and take notes. And I just found going through the online course, I would go through a chapter, and I wouldn't remember what I had just read, and I would try to go back, and it was just this cycle of start and stop and building frustration. And then I said, hey, when I was in college 2 decades ago, I loved having a textbook, something that I could hold, and so I ordered the textbook, and unfortunately that it didn't help much either.
Yeah, I think there's like I'm for me, like I like the idea of having a textbook. Like I think it's nice to be able to step away from the computer. But then I think there's still this component of like the way that all of us learned, even for me now, when I think about it, I'm like, oh man, shit, 2006, 2010, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Even the way that we learned back then, or like the way that I learned, I think I learned differently now over time. Like I think, to your point, it's like you haven't been in school in a long time, things don't stick in your brain the same. And then maybe like there's also ways that I learned that like maybe they weren't the best, like, but it's just what I did.
absolutely. Yeah. No, I used to be able to glance at something and just have it stick somehow by magic, and now it
Yeah, by
takes a little bit
magic.
more.
But I love that. Well, tell me this then. Obviously, like you were going through this process. At some point in time, like you found us. you were probably, I'm imagining you were probably out there looking for resources and other things. I guess, what is it? Because there are other programs, there's courses, there's materials out there. What is it that made you want to reach out and work with us?
Yeah, I found the YouTube videos because I was like, maybe there's something out there that can help me turn these concepts into things that I can understand. How can I make this digestible, like small bites that I can eat and digest, and like, and I came across the YouTube videos and the your channel, and I found chapter summaries and like, okay, here are the 20 concepts that you need to know, and all of a sudden something that became that was felt really unmanageable. I was like, okay, I can do this. It became bite sized and just like, what's the next step? What's the next step?
Love that. And then once you actually signed up and you started, you were inside the course, working through the process, what do you feel like, if you had to narrow it down, what do you feel like was the number one problem that the course solved for you?
Honestly, I feel like you, Joe, you modeled what a great teacher, what a great coach is and should be. I feel like you made the students, you believed in the students maybe more than they believed in themselves, and you almost had like no doubt that we were going to pass this exam as long as we followed your process. You believed in us. If we put in the work, you were going to take us from point A to point B, and just having that and knowing that we could show up live and have our questions answered, yeah, you modeled what I aspire to be as a trainer, and yeah.
Love that. Love it. If we could hug through the computer, I'd give you a hug right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, and I think it is kind of sad too how many people, and I mean, I have the benefit, I'm talking to so many people like you, that a lot of people are just like, man, like the process is just lonely. And, in many ways, it's like you were excited to sign up and get certified, and then the process is like super boring. And it doesn't need to be that way. So whatever. I'm glad you found us. If you had to say, what was like, obviously there was, like you mentioned, having someone to model, like, the training that you wanted to aspire to accomplish, and then also having someone who believed in you, which I truthfully do. Like, I think there's so many good people out there like you who, like, this just is like a barrier in the way instead of like a pathway, like it should be. But were there any other, like, let's call them like little golden nuggets, either A, like ways that you think about training now that came from the course, or any things that really stuck out to you that you're like, man, like that really helped me?
Yeah. I loved there was just so much, and the great thing is that we have the live calls, and then you have the videos that like break down each chapter. And really, like when I found myself on my own getting stuck at like chapter 5, when all this like the science comes in,
Yep.
and I found, just like listening to you, like I could end up verbatim repeating your videos by the time I could teach the course now.
I
And
love
just like
that.
having you in my head,
Yeah.
time and repetition, I was just eventually, like, if it didn't sink in the first time, by the fifth time, I was like, oh, I get it. And yeah, I don't know. And there were just certain chapters. I mean, chapter 5 makes so much sense now. And the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system, and the Golgi tendon organs and all of that. It makes so much sense. And but I can't tell you how many times I tried to learn that on my own. But
Yeah.
hearing you talk about it and just time and repetition, it finally it broke through.
Found its way through the barrier in there. I love that. Well, tell me this. Uh, where do you think you would be in this process had you not like joined us for the course? Um, how do you think it would have turned out? Do you think, would you have taken the test? How long? Like, what do you think that would have looked like had you not found like a pathway?
Oh, honestly, and I don't like to quit things. I'm pretty stubborn. Like once I set a goal, I like to see it all the way through. But if I'm honest, then if I didn't find you, I would have just been like, you know what? I've tried to go through this course 10 times, and every time I get more frustrated, and I probably would not have ended up even taking the test. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, I'm glad that was not the case. I'm glad that was not the case. And if anyone who's watching the video right now, right, and they've learned a little bit about you and your experience going through it and what you got out of the course, if somebody was, if you know, someone's watching right now and they right now are at a similar place that you were struggling through everything, what would your advice to them be?
Yeah, I would recommend reaching out to you. When I signed up for the call, I was imagining I would get some random person, but I was like, hey, this this is Joe on the video that I just watched that like made that concept really really understandable. I was really excited that not only that you showed up for the call, but that you would be there teaching the course and leading us through. And yeah, it's really exciting, and I love that personal touch.
Love that. Awesome. And for you, you're off now solving the other problems. You're certified, you're off now getting, getting some people, trying to work on getting clients. What's the next step for you? Where's Evan going now? Like now that you're certified, obviously you still have your full-time job. What are you focused on now that you're done with the certification?
Yeah, right now I'm focused on reaching out to people that I know, friends and family, starting the whole marketing process. And my whole goal, as always, has been to just find other ways to serve and help people. And I'm looking to help other busy parents who maybe have kids and they're not trying to be the next CrossFit, champion, or they're not trying to be a fitness influencer, but they would love more energy. They would love to feel stronger. So they, because as a parent, when you feel good and you feel your best, then you can give your best to your kids and your family and all the other activities that you enjoy.
Love that, man. Well, I appreciate you so much for spending some time with me, letting other people know a little bit more about your experience. And I'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.